A beautiful Thursday morning to you out there. This is UNIUYO 100.7 FM, and you're on to Newspaper Review, your number one campus radio. Newspaper Review is the news and current affairs program that comes your way every weekday, Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 9 a.m. My name is Jimmy Jackson. Welcoming you to the show. I'm not going to do this alone. I have in-house analysts talking about Felicia Mark Anthony joining us on the program this morning. Good morning, Felicia, and welcome to the Super. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Okay. Yes, you can join the conversation via the studio line 0701 0701 or 0818-883-6262. Better still, head straight to our Facebook page, like our page, drop your comment, and we would do justice to all of those comments. We're also live on Facebook, Jimmy Jackson. Yes, you can watch us live and actually see what we're doing right here in the studios. Okay, starting off this morning, we're starting from the scene where the reports on our dailies this morning that a Kwaibom Swedish Nigerian woman sentenced to 4-year imprisonment over child trafficking. Well, child trafficking in Nigeria has been something quite alarming, but I think there's a little bit of proactiveness in the path of NAPTIP, who are actually the agencies in charge of child trafficking in Nigeria. Felicia Mark Anthony, child trafficking in Nigeria, Akwa Ibom, Swedish Nigerian, sentenced to 4-year imprisonment. Do you think this would serve as a deterrent to others who are still in the habit of doing child trafficking?
Well, for me, 4 years is a bit small. It's not tense enough for such a hideous crime. So I think the sentences should be increased a bit, and then the torture should be more, so that you can actually feel the exact same pain that child felt rather.
How would the child felt? Because this is actually barely a year-old child who was on his way to another country, and definitely there's nothing we can do about it. So how do you think the child will feel? Don't you think parents should be held responsible for these kind of acts?
Parents, the people involved, should be held responsible, including government as well, because like we've been talking about the welfare and living conditions of Nigerians over time. So if the living conditions are well enough for the parents, if the parents have just enough to feed and maintain that child, then the parents will have no need to sell their child or exchange their child for money. But in situations where the parents cannot even fend for themselves, they see it as the best option for them to sell off that child. And you made mention of the fact that it's a baby and the baby doesn't have feeling. You're forgetting that baby will grow and the baby will start asking questions. You have no idea what that child will go through wherever he or she will find himself tomorrow or later in the future. So I still maintain my stand that 4 years is too small a time for such a huge punishment. That child is going to suffer a lifetime for just 4 years.
But still staying with child trafficking, you've made mention of people giving birth, just bringing in people to this world without proper care. Don't you think that this should be looked into? Maybe try to look at birth control in Nigeria, and how many people are willing to do that? Maybe you could say pregnancy, childbearing that came out of wedlock, and some would say mistake. How are we going to cope this as Nigerians to ensure that we have people who will bring up another set of human lives to the world, and at least there's what we call security for these children?
First of all, no child is a mistake. For any child to be born, you woke up one morning, you went to a guy's house, you had sex, unprotected sex, you forgot your post pills, and then that child came. So no child is a mistake. It was a deliberate action. You took it, so you should own up to it. And then, yes, birth control laws should be set in Nigeria. I think Nigerian economy does not allow for the kind of procreation Nigerians are seeing and Nigerians are acting. You see a family who you know that your minimum wage doesn't even come every month, and you're giving birth to 5, 6 children. So law should be put in place to tell people that, see, 4 is enough, 2 is enough, 3 is enough. Give birth to whatever you
But don't you
know
think
can
children
take care
come
of.
from God?
Children come from God, but they can be controlled. Yes, they come from God, but we should take the necessary measures to make sure that we don't bring children from God to come and make them suffer hell on earth.
0701070107 or 0818-883-6262 is the number you can join the conversation this morning. This is Newspaper Review on your number one campus radio, UNIUYO 100.7 FM. Jimmy Jackson and Felicia Mark Anthony right here. Okay, moving away from that particular story, talking about trafficking. Let's talk about electricity a bit. I'm super excited this morning because yesterday I went back home and I had lights. So, so I'm super excited. But this news has it that collapsed electricity grid restored, according to TCN boss. But let's just wrap all the stories that has to do with electricity, but we save the later part. We'll have to talk extensively about it. Buhari to go through discourse agents selling prepaid meters, and still on electricity, disconnect customers rejecting meters. NERC orders discourse distributors. Let's look at first the restored electricity grid in Nigeria. Over the weekend, we had the blackouts almost everywhere in the states. I know that happened in some other parts of the country, but that has been restored. But let's look at something Nigerians are actually clamoring for: prepaid meters. Now, ever since we had that Nigerians will be running through prepaid meters, a couple of years now, a handful of Nigerians can't even lay hold of prepaid meters. And thanks to Akwa State government, where we, according to reports, producing meters right here. What we have to say about this metering of electricity consumers in Nigeria, Felicia?
Well, I saw something very interesting here. He said, from the president, he said, we have made it very clear through the regulator's direct order as well as intervention from the Ministry of Power that the meters are to be provided to Nigerians at no cost, with emphasis on at no costs.
Are we sure that with the way Nigeria
is, are we sure that
we will get those meters without
no cost? Which that's what I want to really emphasize on, because some people that I know that uses this meter
paid for it.
They paid for it. So we can now see that at this point the problem is not even coming from the head, like from the federal government. It's not coming from our president. It's not coming from the Minister of Power. It's coming from Nigerians like you and I that hoard these things and in turn sell these things to us, because the ministry is not even aware that people are selling.
Are you sure they're not aware?
For them to have come out plain and said they are selling it, it should be given at no cost. I don't think they will want to contradict themselves by saying no cost and coming out to push people to go and sell it at a cost. So yeah, they are not. Okay.
Still staying with that, and let's look at one word that would readily come to the minds of Nigerians is corruption. Felicia, don't you see another corruption looming in this particular regard? Talking about the distribution of prepaid meters to Nigerians and each household.
We're not seeing a new level of corruption. It's something that has actually been in existence.
So how are we going to stop the tide?
When it comes to Nigeria, stopping corruption is something that I don't see coming in the near future. Because even if at a time these things are given for free, we'll still find out that some people will hoard it, and it will only be given to the elites. The poor masses might not even know that there is such a thing as prepaid meter.
Okay. All right, 0701070107 or 0818-883-6262 is the way you can join the conversation these mornings. Still talking about electricity and actually power. I think today's edition is actually solely dedicated to power this morning. Okay, disconnect customers rejecting meters. NERC orders discourse distributors. Do you think it's possible for this to be carried out? Now, a lot of people are saying that, I think the coin is in two ways, where some people prefer to use electricity without prepaid meters, but they're complaining of estimated billing, and people who are actually using prepaid meters try to find a way to see how to reduce the number of consumption in those meters. So, with this new directive given to NERC, do you think definitely Nigerians will be happy that there's something to stop them from paying more without you doing the right thing?
A typical Nigerian will be happy. I will be happy.
Without prepaid meter?
Yes.
Why?
No, not without prepaid meter.
Okay.
I don't even understand why people will reject prepaid meter in the first place. I mean,
I just cited an example.
Yeah, paying for light that you're actually using, because that's what it's all about. When you recharge your card, I will go out and I will turn off my light so that by the time I come back, I'm minimizing. So for people rejecting, I don't really understand why they should reject. So at this point, I would like to agree in a way with the NERC.
Okay.
When they say they should disconnect, because this should be a welcome development.
But trust Nigerians now, they will find a back door to do that.
On the other hand, people should be allowed to make their choices. This thing should be made optional. People should do what they want and how they want it. But then at the end of the day, the truth still remains that you are paying bills, prepaid meter or estimated bills.
All right, 0701070107 or 081836262. Finally, on the power this morning, federal government, NLC, TUC, ad hoc committee on electricity tariff engages discourse customers as the IBEDC, that's the Badon Electricity Distribution Company, promises to resolve SRT challenges. Well, are we still heading for the industrial strike where, the NLC TUC had actually threatened the federal government if the hiking electricity tariff is not reversed? Would that be the case during this UNIUYO season?
I pray not. I pray not. But with the way things are going, if things are not really curtailed, then we might end up in that situation.
Well, actually, I've been paying an electricity bill. I've noticed that for the last 2 months, there's actually an hike in electricity prices. What's actually happening? Like, why this hike, even when the NLC and federal government are actually, at a round table to ensure that Nigerians don't bear these burdens of paying excessively? The economy and things are really, really outrageous this month.
Yeah.
So I always seen strike. Like, I was seeing NLC still standing their ground to ensure that federal government reverse the hike in electricity.
In this particular situation, even if we want to say we are saying strike, I would love to say that strike is actually not an option.
Okay.
Because it won't help anything. It won't help anyways. Going on strike will only punish we the more, because going on strike means a lot of things will have to be on hold. So that's not an option. Even if it's looking like it's going to be, but we are begging, it's not an option. There are other ways to handle this thing, and the government should really look into them.
Okay. 0701070107 or 081836262 is the number you can join the conversation this morning. You can also head to our social media handle, talking on Facebook, facebook.com/UNIUYO, like our page, and actually drop your comments. Well, before we move away from something similar, let's talk about this one briefly. Felicia, Nigeria resumes petrol imports from China. Now, we have crude oil in Nigeria. We have refineries that are not working. And now we are importing petroleum products all the way from China.
All the way from China. That's sad.
What's happening?
That's really sad. Nigeria is one of the biggest oil producer. So it's very sad to know that we are importing petrol all the way from China. It's extremely sad. It's extremely sad.
But the question Nigerians, a whole lot of Nigerians will be asking is, why is it that we have refineries in this country and those refineries are not working?
At this point, I would personally love to say, okay, let's hold the leadership, the federal government, accountable for this particular issue. But then we must be really honest with ourselves. There are people in charge of this particular sector.
Who are the people?
The Minister of Petroleum, the Minister of what they call them. But these people, should be able to put things two and two together and say, okay, this particular thing is not working. Instead of spending money to cut grass, let us channel this money to this particular place. If the refineries in Nigeria start working, we'll be killing two things. One, we won't have cases where we have to import petrol from another country, all the way from another continent. So country is light. China is in Asia, it's not even an African country. And then two, we'll be also squashing employment issues, because once this refinery start working, people will get employed. And Nigerians will have something to wake up in the morning and say, okay, I'm going to work. So the people in charge of this oil, the oil sector in general in Nigeria, should really look into this. Everything should not be about the federal government. You are there, you know what to do, and I believe they have the funding to do what they have to do too. So people should really put force. They should ginger these people. Come out and do what you're supposed to do. The oil sector is for you and I. Come out and develop. We cannot be the highest oil producing country in Africa, and yet we are importing petroleum products.
Well, I don't know what to say, but definitely there's God, Sha. 0701-0701-007 or 081-883-6262. All right, moving away from that, let's head straight to education. I don't know, we've talked about these over and over on this program. Anytime pops up on our daily, so we're always talking about it. But today, as I think I was at yesterday, federal government inaugurates a renegotiation team with ASU. Orders on 2009 agreement says varsity will soon reopen. Felicia Mark, Anthony, are you pleased with this new step by the federal government to set up another committee to review an agreement that they have been having meetings upon meetings like in how many months?
I am not pleased, and I cannot be pleased till I see results, because they've been telling us soon for like the past 8 months. So until we see tangible results, until we hear this thing has been resolved, ASU has called off the strike, students can now go back to school. Every other thing is just in the papers. Every other thing is just news for me.
Okay, so okay, talk to Nigerian students who are listening to you right now, because there's a whole lot of uncertainties surrounding when schools will resume. Should students start preparing to come back to school, or should they move on with their life? I know that I use the word if we just have to move on. But what would you say to Nigerian students looking at it seems like government is trying to be proactive this season to ensure that our varsities are back and it's running at optimum level?
Greatest Nigerian student.
Okay.
I know a lot of you are out there and you are telling yourself, oh, I've moved on with my life. But listen, you cannot move on with your life. So as far as this stage of your life is in a halt, we can move on. Moving on means you're foregoing this part. And my guy, you're in 300 level, you're in 200 level, you're in 100 level, you've started, and you must get the certificate. If not, one way or the other, you'll be hooked for a very long time. If this strike continue persisting and you keep on shouting, I've moved on with my life, you're doing yourself more harm than good. So keep reading, keep studying, most importantly, keep praying, and then keep pushing. Let us show ASU more support. Let us come out and demand that the federal government actually give ASU what is due them, because they deserve it. They've worked for it. For the past 11 years, they've been clamoring for the same thing over and over again. It is time we come together. National Association of Nigerian Students should come together and join forces with ASU and demand for these things to be put in place so that we too can move on. ASU will move on. The federal government can move on, and we'll be all happy.
Okay, 0701-070-1007 or 081-883-6262 is the number you can join in the conversation this morning. This is Newspaper Review on your number one campus radio. Away from education, let's talk about security. We're going to talk about this particular incident for quite a number of days now, since on Monday when the news broke. Some Babari killings, Buhari pledges to honor Reps' invitation. Femi Gbajamiabila, the Speaker, House of Reps, talking there. And still on security, tourism may persist for another 20 years in Nigeria, talking about Burutai. And finally, on security, government releases Chinese expatriates collect 100 million ransom. First, let's talk about the invitation to the president by the National Assembly and the House of Rep Speaker assuring members that presidents would honor that invitation. Felicia, let's talk about the Nigerian president, and a lot of people are saying he rarely talks to Nigerians. He hardly grants
us.
Yeah. And this is him going to the National Assembly, and definitely will be asked questions. What do you think Nigerians should expect when the president finally would honor that particular invitation?
Nigerians shouldn't expect anything in particular because the president has a lot on his head. But then, as well, every typical Nigerian expects something better, a better news that this particular incident will not occur again. So things have been put in place to make sure that this incident does not occur again. So I'm urging the government, I'm urging the Senate that their meeting should actually rally around these issues to make sure that something pops up, idea pops up, strategies most importantly pops up that will help curtail another incident that is similar to this again.
Okay, but I know that Buhari going to the National Assembly. Do you think Nigerians should expect Buhari at the floor of the National Assembly saying that security chiefs have been sacked?
No, he wouldn't say that.
Okay.
He wouldn't say that. We shouldn't expect that.
Okay.
We should expect strategies. We should expect good news. We don't want to know who has been sacked or who has been placed. We just want results.
Okay, but let's look at the alarming rate of insecurity in Nigeria. The chief of army staff talking about Brutai, coming out yesterday to say that terrorism would persist for another 20 years. And yesterday in UNIUYO, we heard what happened. Criminals, gang,
Hoodlums.
Okay, whatever name you want to tag them. Let's look at the security situation. Ever since the NSAS protest came and the defunct SARS was disbanded, the cases of robbery, car snatching, people losing valuable items has been on the increase. And the Nigerian police force seems not to do anything. What should Nigerians do? Because it seems like we are at the mercies of these criminal elements. You can't even call, you move around with you and you really see police van stationed at strategic points just to at least, sometimes when you see the uniform, the soaps.
On a very lighter note,
Okay.
Someone said Nigerian police are keeping malice with us over the NSAS protest. So we're begging, if they're actually keeping malice with us, please forgive us. We're sorry, we didn't mean to hurt your feelings. We just had to come out playing. But then, that withstanding, every criminal occurrences that we are seeing in Nigeria today is as a result of things our leadership has put us into. Lack of proper education, lack of employment, push people to do criminal acts that even them on their normal days would not want to do. Imagine going to school for 8 years, 7 years, 9 years and coming out without any assurance of a job. Imagine seeking for a job for 7-10 years and there's nothing. Criminal acts become the next options. Although you have no excuse. There is no excuse for robbery. There is no excuse. There is no justification for any bad act. But all these things accumulate to give reasons to why security in Nigeria is on the high side. So aside from that, if you're participating in these things, please note that you are tarnishing your image, your family's image, and you are also putting your future and that of your unborn children at stake. Because the more the security issues keep increasing, the more we are saying no to investment, to foreign investment, and the more we are reducing our chances of even getting that employment and development that we seek. Nobody will want to come and invest in Nigeria when they know that their security is not assured, that their safety is not sure. So leave that alone. Look for something honest and do.
Okay, 07010701207 or 081836262. Let's briefly talk about the NSAS process. A CBN governor denies freezing NSAS promoters' accounts. SN's fault Apex Bank power to investigate. Now we talked about this CBN, obtaining court order to freeze, to continue to freeze the NSAS accounts holders, like those campaigners. And now CBN governors coming out to deny the freezing of NSAS accounts. So the question would be, who are those people freezing the account of these individuals?
This news is actually very contradicting, because as of yesterday, we got the news where the CBN was actually begging the court that the court should not unfreeze the account of campaigners. And today you're coming out to deny that you were not involved in the freezing of the account. It's contradicting.
Can we say that this is just a personal statement, or CBN in general? Because the headline says CBN governor.
CBN governor is not a person. CBN governor is a representative of CBN.
Oh,
it's just like Governor Udom coming out to say, or rather, a governor of a state coming out to say this or that about his state. Whatever the people have to say, it's just about them. We will only take what the governor say.
Okay.
So he is the bank.
Okay. 0701070107 or 08188836262 is the number you can join in the conversation this morning. And finally, before we step out of the studio, we have these particular updates we normally do every morning. NCDC is upon us with the latest figure of COVID-19. As of yesterday, Nigeria recorded 122 new cases of COVID-19 and a total number of 67,960. Felicia Mark, please advise Nigerians on what NCDC is actually telling us.
Dear Nigeria, the Christmas is upon us. The festive season is upon us. Please, as we continue to celebrate and continue to stay happy with friends and family, remember that COVID-19 is real and it is still out there. Don't play with your safety. You matter. Your life matters. Your family loves you. So imagine if you're leaving them at this particular point in time. It is not necessary. When you're going out there, please sanitize. Always move around with your hand sanitizer. Wear your mask as often as possible, and take every necessary non-pharmaceutical measures that the federal government, the health sectors have put in place to help us curtail this COVID-19. COVID-19 is real and you do not deserve to suffer. So please help us save yourself, because we love you. If you die, nobody will listen to us, so we love you.
All right, that's what we have time for today in newspaper review. I want to thank Felicia Mark Anthony for coming around on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, we'll be back tomorrow for the final edition of the program for the week, and hopefully you'll join us by then. Okay, keep your dial locked on UNIUYO 100.7 FM and enjoy the rest of today's broadcast on your #1 campus radio, the workstation. My name is Jimmy Jackson. Do have a fun few Thursday, and don't forget that Throwback Thursday is upon us on your radio this morning. Do have a fun few day. Bye bye.